Hello, welcome to Radio OPAC. Hello, everyone who's on Facebook joining us. Welcome to Radio OPAC. Also, welcome to everyone who is joining us from inside of a prison or other carceral facility. You're welcome. We're so glad that you're here with us today. I'm Jessie Glover, and I'm a part of Ohio Prison Arts Connection. We are a coalition of people around the state who connect people with art inside and outside prisons. And I could not be more thrilled to be here with Dr. Patrice Palmer. Hello,
Hi.
Patrice, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to get the chance to talk with you and to share it with everyone. Dr. Palmer is many amazing things. She is the reentry support specialist for Franklin County's Department of Homeland Security. She is a founder and program developer for Chosen for Change, and she is a trainer and teaching artist with PeaceLove, which is a national organization with a presence inside of the Franklin County jail system, and that is Patrice's engagement. So Patrice, hello.
Hi.
Hi. We would love to just start by hearing a little bit about your story. How has the arts been a part of your life, and how has it affected your experience of who you are?
So art has always played a part in my life. It's the way that I can share how I really feel, even when I don't know how to express how I feel. My mother was a designer, a clothes designer, and so I guess I kind of got that from her. So for me, my journey is being incarcerated 4 times, none of which I'm proud of, and being in active addiction to crack cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol for almost 20 years, and funneling in and out of the criminal justice system. And for me, not being able to really come to grips with some things that happened to me when I was a child that I felt must have been my fault, but really learned later on in life that it really was not. And so I always used art as a way to express how I felt. And it has always given me a peace and a calmness about myself, and to really look at life and the situations and circumstances that have happened, and I can express them, I can talk about them, even painful things. I can use art, drawing, painting, coloring, to articulate into words through pictures what I was feeling. So art has just always been an amazing part of who I am, and then using that to talk about some issues and challenges that have really been difficult to talk about, or I felt alone. And people could look at my art, and I explained my art to them, and they could understand how I was feeling or what was going on.
Wow. So I love the way that you're describing sort of the way that art has a role for you in helping you to understand and communicate to yourself your own experience, and also it helps you to communicate to others, that that it becomes a pathway to explaining or expressing your story and your experience to other people as well.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I also love that you describe it as a place of calm and peace, and that makes me, of course, think of the organization that you're a part of, which is PeaceLove, and the idea that art is a pathway to peace for individuals and for groups of people. Would you mind sharing just how you got to be a part of that organization, and why it's important to you?
So PeaceLove was introduced to me. I developed a program for the Franklin County Jail under the auspices of Commissioner Marilyn Brown. That was in response to the Stepping Up initiative in 2015 from the state council government in Washington, and Ohio became a pilot. And so I was challenged to design a program for females specifically in the county jail that addressed mental health disorders and opioid addiction. And so combining the two of those things, using cognitive behavioral therapy motivational interviewing, and those kind of modalities to address opioid addiction and mental health and that co-occurring substance disorder.
Yeah.
I was introduced to a possibility of bringing PeaceLove to the jail by Deputy Butler. And so I said, well, I want to see what it's about. I want to go to a workshop and make sure it's okay for our ladies.
Right.
So I went to a workshop at the Vineyard in Worthing, Westerville, and I was just floored. I was amazed at the power of the arts. I was in a group, I knew two people that was in the group, but yet we all had this connection through the art, and we expressed emotions and feelings that we either were presently dealing with or had dealt with in our past. And it was just so powerful. And I remember coming home and looking at the piece of artwork, and I thought, wow, this is like amazing. How do I get connected to this? So Columbus Art Council, Donatos, and Ohio Health sponsored a scholarship for me to go to Rhode Island to be trained in PeaceLove. And there are 7 workshops. And so it's a week-long training. And so while at the training, I met some phenomenal people. Jeff Spar and Matt Kaplan are the founders for PeaceLove. And Jeff shares his own mental health struggles. PeaceLove is about helping people have conversation about mental health wellness and removing the stigma that's attached to mental health. So the arts play a part in you being able to express yourself. So being trained, and I said, whoa, nobody here, looks like me. There was therapists there and school teachers and prevention specialists, but no one from correction. And so I shared my journey with Jeff and Matt, and they were just floored. And I spoke at their storyteller, and people were floored. So we were able to develop a correctional component to be able to take it inside of corrections. And so I do it with our women in the Franklin County Jail, and Deputy Butler does it with the maximum security men and the LGBTQIA population.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
Able to do it with ODRC. So yeah, it's phenomenal.
Wow, it just feels like a really natural match, because what you're describing is an experience where even people with very different backgrounds, very different life experiences, who don't see necessarily natural connections with each other, making a connection through the communicative power of art.
Absolutely.
And the relationship of art to supporting mental health and supporting connection to other people, which is also a support of mental health. This makes sense that people who are justice involved would benefit from this kind of engagement. So that's just outstanding. I just want to turn to our Facebook audience and say, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is Radio OPAC. I am speaking with Dr. Patrice Palmer. Dr. Palmer works with PeaceLove, as we've just heard, as a trainer and a teaching artist within the Franklin County Jail system. But you, Patrice, are also the founder and program developer for Chosen for Change, and you're also a staff member with Franklin County Department of Homeland Security, work in the reentry support area. So what for you is the connection between all of these different but amazing and impactful pieces of work? How do they all connect for you?
I think that they all connect through the passion to see people rebuild their lives. To understand that good people make poor choices and decisions in life, but it doesn't mean they're a bad person. They all connect because it's about humanity, and how do we help humanity bring out the best in themselves so that it can trickle down to our families, our communities, and that we can become stronger and build stronger, safer communities with people, being accountable for whatever issues or circumstances or challenges that they may have in life. But how do I grow from the experience that weren't so good in my life? How do I connect the fact that, I'm a good person, but I made some poor choices or some poor decisions in life, and not throw that individual away because of that, but help strengthen them, that they learn from it. It's my belief that if we can begin to change the element on how we handle people that are justice involved, if we restore the value, the dignity, and the worth of an individual, then we can return a more productive citizen back into society. For me, I don't argue about criminal justice involvement or second chances. What I do is I bring people into my world through the arts. I invite them to PeaceLove workshops. Commissioners have come, senators have come, the deputy director of reentry for ODRC has come. I invite them into that world and give them a different lens to view things from. And so I use the arts to be able to have safe conversation, but yet necessary conversations to bring about systematic change.
That's right. So it can change, the arts can be a part of changing how we view ourselves and what role we see for ourselves in a community. And it can also be, what you're describing is important for people with influence, people with decision-making power, to experience the transformative power of the arts and the work that's created by justice-involved folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So we're gonna look at some artwork. A piece of visual art, and we're going to listen to a poem. But before we do that, I just love to ask you one more question, which is what hopes do you have for the work that you're doing and the role that the arts can have in it in, the coming months, the coming year?
So my hope is that, and I've been in conversation with Jeff Spar and Matt, to bring a hub of PeaceLove to Ohio.
Lovely.
The work is tremendous. PeaceLove and the arts, it doesn't matter if they're, little kids in daycare and in elementary, all the way up to seniors. These workshops are designed to create safe space and to have conversation and to help people stabilize what's going on inside of them emotionally. So it's my hope to be able to bring that to Ohio and upscale that, and also to extend that to our prison system, our county jails all across Ohio, because I believe it helps people center themselves, come to accountability, but yet understand that we're more connected than we are separated. And it helps people come to a place of wellness emotionally. I believe people that are in prison, there's a psychological and emotional impact of being incarcerated as well as coming home. So how do we help channel those emotions? We can do that with art. We can help them balance themselves through art and be able to express themselves and come up with a positive plan of action for their reentry or for their incarceration that can be more beneficial for the wholeness and the wellness of the person. That's my hope.
That's right. I'm inspired by that vision, and I, for one, will show up to help support it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
those of you who are on Facebook, I hope that you will take up a part of this as well. And one thing that you can do right away is join us on the talkback that's going to immediately follow this conversation. There's going to be a link in the comments. You can join that conversation to continue our conversation with Dr. Palmer and work together practically about how we can make the arts a greater presence in our institutions and in the lives of folks and in the communities that they are a part of. So we're going to end with a moment of reflection on a couple of pieces of art. You've got a piece of visual art that you're going to share with us, and then a poem. The piece of visual art is called A Walk to the Hall of Fame. And
Yes.
would you mind bringing that forward?
So, okay.
It's right on your wall.
It's on my wall.
It's right. It's been right the whole time.
Yeah, so let me see. So this is a piece of art that Jeff Spar made for me. I was inducted into the Hall of Fame at the Ohio State College of Social Worker last year. And so one of the things I had said was that it was the peace of mind and the love in my heart that helped me to overcome and conquer a lot of challenges in life. So that's why he made this. And it has, me walking to there. And I didn't get there overnight. There were some stumbling blocks along the way. But because of the arts and being able to use the arts, I was able to overcome many challenges in life, and then to be honored in that fashion, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame was just amazing. So that's this beautiful piece of art that Jeff made for me.
Lovely. It's
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. Yes.
Thank you. And then we've got a poem. This is a poem called Life, Can You Hear Me Now? And this is your poem.
Right. It's my poem I wrote in 2010 and actually won an award for it. So here we go. It says, Life, can you hear me now? You have dealt me a hand which I have played all so well. As a result, I got beat up, hit the dirt, and fell. I blame situations, events, circumstance, and others. I even blame my father, mother, sister, and brother. As I sit here trapped within the walls of this booth, I realize excuses shift like sand beneath the weight of truth. The choice is mine to remain the same or to take courage, strength, and play a brand new game. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I love I love that piece. I love that it speaks to you and speaks to your life, but also speaks into the lives of all of us and invites us to think about what can change and what can transform. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Dr. Palmer, what a complete honor it is to talk with you. And I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation with you and all of you out there on Facebook in our talkback right now. Click the link in the comments and you can join that talkback conversation. And I hope also that you'll join us next week. We have a Radio OPAC with Jessica Keene next week, who started a tap dance class in a prison. So join us on July 3rd, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much, Patrice Palmer. And
thank you.
We hope you'll join us for the talk back. This has been Radio OPAC.